So welcome everyone to this, which is the information spotlight session for the New Earth Energetics. And I want to say up front that this is, it is a self-contained session, transmission, explanation. And so absolutely there will be great value for you here, regardless of what level of commitment you want to take on after that. But I want to be really clear and say that this is an information session to share the context for a program that I have been channeling for a couple of years now. And it's a program that allows people to connect into, or facilitates their own connection into, a different grid to the energy grid that we are all functioning off, or have been functioning off. So the guides are calling it the New Earth Energy Grid. They have another name for it as well, but it's sort of long and cumbersome. So it's an actual, it is an energetic frequency grid. And so that program is a semester, a 4-month semester of fortnightly sessions, activations, and ultimately unplugging, facilitation of unplugging you from, or us from, the old grid and plugging us into the new grid. And I just want to say that up front, because if anyone is bothered by that, and feel free, there's no offense at all, but feel free if you weren't expecting that. I hope it was clear in my communications. But as I say, the guides will speak in detail and depth about what the New Earth Energy Grid is. They will give us all an opportunity, or I like to say they'll facilitate an opportunity for us to connect into how that feels, because it really is you doing that yourself. But it is useful to have high frequency beings, high frequency energies that facilitate that, because it's just an easier process for us to hold, as they're holding their frequency for us to match that frequency. So, sorry, I'm just letting a couple of people in, and I lost my train of thought there. So yes, so that's sort of just the context, so that everyone understands what this session is about. And just before I bring them through, just so that you know how the session will run, I wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to me, myself, personally, and in terms of why I'm doing this, why I'm particularly, what my sort of journey was to sort of get here. And then we will together come into just create a field that is a shared field that is within the quantum field. So there'll be a very gentle little, I'll walk us all through a connection. It's not really a meditation, it's just a connection piece where we create this connection to our shared field. And, you know, we can all feel how amplified the energy is. And this is because we are sharing our energy, we are sharing our field already. But we'll just put a little bit of hygiene around that. And then the guides will come through and most likely speak, they will speak, I'm telling them, they will speak to the New Earth Energetics and what it really means and what's different and how it can impact us, how it can influence us, and how it's critical for the rollout of what many of us know to be the New Earth. And I don't want to use terms that not everyone's familiar with, so I will try and find sort of very generic ways of speaking to this. And then there will be an opportunity, as I said, to have an experience where we have a facilitated journey into that, what it feels like to be in the New Earth Energy Grid. And then we'll have some opportunity for questions and answers at the end. Now, I have invited a few of my alumni to join me in this session, because I thought sometimes it's really nice to ask people who've already been through an experience, already been through a transformational package, program, experience, in terms of what their experience was or how it impacted them, how it changes their lives. It's sort of well and good for me to say, it's phenomenal, it's fundamentally life-changing, but I think it's really nice to have the opportunity to ask specific questions of those who've already experienced this in great detail. So there are several people here that have continued on the long journey with us all. They can't seem to extricate themselves from the beautiful energies, and so they're available if you'd like to ask any questions. So just bear that in mind. If something's bubbling up, you can either ask the guides or you could ask the alumni. pardon me, I'm got a little cold, so I'm a little dehydrated. Okay, so just in terms of who I am, and many of you know me, and many of you know this story, so apologies for the repetition, but many of you don't. So I was an atheist until about 5 years ago, and I say that because quite often I think in these sort of circles, these spiritual circles, people project those that are working closely with these sorts of energies as having had some special life experience or always knowing that what they currently know. The other reason that I say it is because I think it's really important to know I was the biggest cynic and the biggest skeptic before I had this experience. And so when I speak to this, it is with absolute conviction, because I know what the old me would have been thinking when she was watching someone like me. So I understand if there's an element of, is this real? I really get that. But just a very abridged version of that pocket of my life. I was going through a really hard time, and someone suggested that I begin to meditate. And so I did learn a practice of meditation, but it took me a long time to really sort of feel any benefit from it, but I pushed on with it. And one day during meditation, I was lying down, that's how I prefer to meditate. I felt an extraordinary energetic, a phenomenal, forceful energy just take over my body and begin to move my head. And when I say move, I don't mean like this. And I also don't mean a 360 swivel, but I mean like a 180 ferocious. I can't even do it as a conscious human. I couldn't swivel my head that quickly as a human. And so that was so significant and so profound. I could not contest that. So I think that's why it was so big for me. It wasn't like just a gentle little nudge. It wasn't like a feeling. I think someone's here. Did I hear something? It was phenomenal. And so I was terrified, of course. And so I didn't meditate for about 3 months. And then after that time, I just sort of thought, well, maybe it wasn't a bad thing. Like maybe it was just like people talk about, a higher self. Maybe it was just an expression of me. And so I went back into meditation, and I asked for whatever that energy was, to feel that energy again, and to sort of really test it out and see whether or not it felt like a good energy to me. And at the time, it hadn't felt like a bad energy. It just felt scary because it was the unknown for me. And so I then began to ask it to indicate yes and no to help me with a few life decisions. So this is what I would think of as being my broader unified self, my broader energetic self, either whether you regard it as your inner being or your higher self. I was communicating with that bit of me at this time. And then over a period of time, I began to receive messages from my broader energetic self and I don't really know why she chose to do it this way, but by spelling through my head. So it would look something like, my, them, something like that. So clearly not an actual sentence there. And so it would look a little bit like that. And I would receive messages in that way. And I was flying back from Melbourne to London one day, and it was, it's a long flight. It's a 24-hour flight. And I was feeling really great because I knew how to meditate, so I could pass the time, and I, was feeling really smug. And as I was meditating, the energy, which felt very different to my own broader unified self energy, came through and spelt through my head, "Would you speak for us?" And of course, I was a little bit sort of surprised. And so I sort of said, well, how do I know if you're the good guys? And they spelt out, "How does it feel?" And of course, it felt like love. It just felt clean and pure and elevated and uplifting and like love. And just not an important part of the story, but a follow-on from that was I then said to them, and if I do agree to speak for you, what do you want to be called or referred to as? And they spelt out Steven, Stephen. And I said, Stephen, like, that seems pretty lame. And they said, oh, we just want to be normal. as if any part of this is normal. So we sort of left it there for a little while, and I was thinking about it. And a friend of mine who's actually on the call, Layla, had said to me when I arrived into London, had I checked the etymology of the word Stephen, and spelt very specifically the way they spelt it out with a V. One of the dictionary definitions of Middle English is a group of voices. And I think that's really lovely because it signaled their level of playfulness, their level of joyfulness, of having a little bit of a joke, a little bit of a tricking me as the human. And so it did take a little while for me to settle into agreeing that I would do that, would speak for them, a channel for them. And then over time, as I've become more and more accepting and grounded around this, it has become evident they have made it aware that they are, for anyone who, I mean, this might not mean anything for anyone or many people, but for anyone who's familiar with the collective known as the Elohim, they have identified themselves as being the Elohim, but they still refer to themselves a lot as Stephen because it is really very much about making this experience very accessible to people and not having hierarchies and not sort of over investing in who's what and what someone is, what a group of energies are. But it probably is useful for me to say that it is a body of collective energy. So I'm not channeling one individual entity, I'm channeling a body, whatever you might regard that as, and you'll feel it because it's a very amplified energy. So that is probably sort of enough of a context around myself and how I came into doing this. And but I think it's important then perhaps the next bit to say why I'm so passionate about helping people, facilitating people connect into the New Earth energy grid, because it just makes such a difference to your life. And it's not just your life. It's such an amplified thing. This is the foundational, fundamental energy structure for the New Earth. And the more of us that get to connect with that get to work with that energy, yes, we have a beautiful individual experience. It's lovely, it's elevated, it's calm, it's peaceful, it's uplifted, it's joyful, but the impact it has on our collective is phenomenal. And we really need more people to be connecting into this energy grid and working off this energy grid so that we bring in a kinder and more compassionate and more loving and more accepting and less polarized and less divisive collective. So yeah, okay. So that said, I will now lead us into really just connecting on a more sort of tangible level with our collective field, with our group field, and then, as I say, they will come through. For anyone who hasn't experienced light language before, one final thing I want to share is that they will bring through an energetic transmission, which will probably be quite early on when they come through, which is a recalibration exercise, or transmission. And when I say recalibration, what I mean by that is that we all hold, in this moment, we're holding our energy in different ways. And in order for them to work with us as a group, they'll just assist us to what you might experience is just a slight uplift, a little bit of feeling a little bit lighter, just feeling a bit more connected, and that will just help us all be able to communicate through the transmission. But if you're not familiar with light language, it will sound like gibberish. So just go along with it. Don't analyze it if you possibly can avoid doing that. Try not to decode it. It won't make sense to your human brain. It bypasses the human brain and works at a very deep energetic level. So just allow yourself to go along with that. But having said that, come through and they will share what they're bringing through in terms of satisfying our individual humans on a human level, satisfying us and any of the questions that we might have. So don't be worried that it's just going to be a long exercise in listening to this gibberish. All right, terrific. There might be a little bit of head movement as they come through, but it will be nothing like what I experienced. There will be no heads flying off at all. So, all right, lovely. So when you're ready, everyone, just I would invite you to close your eyes and just settle back. Allow yourself to really have a moment of connection. So taking a deep breath in. Just feel into your heart center. And this will be easy for everyone because this is the area, the chakra or the area or that zone around our physical heart where we feel love, where we feel we are connected, when we're feeling those beautiful elevated frequencies. This is where we feel them. When we feel peace, when we feel most like ourselves, we feel that through the heart center. And so bring your attention, your awareness, your conscious awareness to that area. And just as if by your own intention, you are activating that energy of your own heart to be as electric, as activated, as amplified as is comfortable for you. And then on the next inhalation, just observe yourself and your energy as if it is, maybe it's represented as a column or a pillar of light, and it is moving there's energy that's flowing, and it's flowing through from your star chakra, through your crown, at the top of your head, past your forehead or third eye, and down to your throat area, down past the area above your heart, your high heart. And then your heart is connecting to your solar plexus, which is just above your belly button, and your sacral, which is just below your belly button, your root, which is at the bottom of your torso. And you see this flow as it moves down now into your earth chakra, or just about a meter below the bottom of your torso. And as you observe it beginning to continue to flow, now you're getting the full picture. Perhaps you're zooming out and you're seeing that from above you, there's this magnificent flow of energy, flow of light. This is your light. This is your own pillar. And you'll see it as it moves through your different energy areas down your physical body. And you'll see it now as it begins to move through the different layers of the earth, the different areas of the earth, through the surface of the earth and the crust, and down past any of the crystalline layers. And you'll see it and you'll feel it as it begins to connect into the core of the earth, the center of the earth. And just with that connection, you might feel a sense of stability, just a slight increase in your sense of safety, of security, of certainty. You just feel a little more, perhaps what you would describe as grounded. You just feel a little bit more tethered. And so feel how beautiful that flow of energy, which is you, which is your own unique flow of energy. Feel how lovely that is. And bring your awareness now back to your heart center, knowing that all of those energy areas have been activated, knowing that you are fully connected and earthed, grounded, tethered to the earth. Bringing your awareness back to the heart center. And on your next exhalation, just set your intention to allow your energy to be shared with this group. And so as you exhale, you might imagine there are little bubbles of light. This is your energy. And you are allowing this energy, whilst you are sovereign over your pillar of light and you are not compromised in any way, you are setting your intention to allow your energy to be shared with others, to be part of the formulation of our shared group field. And I have done a hygiene assessment, and there is no negative energy, or there is no negative there is no negativity, no negative frequency within this group. And so you can with great certainty decide to share your energy. Now, how much of your energy you share is up to you, but to maximize this experience for yourself, it would be helpful if you connect with the energy of the group. And as you are doing this, I'm setting our intention as a group to only work with high frequency energies. And any energies that are not of the highest frequency will bounce off the field that we have created together and find a place for themselves elsewhere. And so really feel into this now, how your energy feels different now that you are part of a shared joint field of energy. And taking a breath, knowing that you are connected to your own pillar of light. At any time you can move your full energy back to your own pillar of light, but knowing and setting your intention that you have decided that you would be part of this experience and that you are only working with high frequency energies. And so feel how calm and peaceful, expanded, amplified, pure this energy field feels. And it is my dominant intention, Maya Francis, to be an accurate, pure, and precise translator of the vibrations as they come through, so that that which is shared with everyone is a pure, precise, and accurate reading, reflection of that which has come through. And now connect into your core frequency, which is the core frequency of love. We are all holding our core frequency of love. And so again, it will be easy for you to connect into this frequency because it is who you are, is what you are. And so it's from within this frequency that we invite Stephen, the Elohim, to come through and share with the group that which is most useful and helpful and uplifting in the context of the new earth energetics. Hirkiutsaka, Shibaba Jakanda Kuele Otsamba, Echo Baba Jekia, Yitin Jobaba Jekia, Otikila Umba, Riumba, Japo Baba Jeko, Eo, Baba Jaconzia, to Boba Jekele, Otikia, Utim Chipia, Papa Pachikielo, Boba Jekendo Godagia, Utakumba, Rio, Yamba, Papa, Papa, so Papa Jikan Jubario at Baba at Jubarium Jakalekua, it's Unjagarium Shika at Papa, the Indokudagiala, Ichupa Rio Taka, Zibiba, Jibario, la, Ichka, Chia at your the Baba Baba, it's a Chipipia, Joba, Jababa, Jibaba baby, Sipa Papa, Ikonda Kila. She Shupaba, Tibamba, Tikoi, Ziva Laloyandaka, Usipa Papa Chica, or the Papa Chikia, to Papa, Ichum, Eka Baba Tikia. Greetings, 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 dear ones. Greetings to you all. What a pleasure, what a delight to connect with each of your own energies. Oh, share. And we do apologize for piercing anyone's eardrums. Such was our excitement and enthusiasm at connecting with you all. A great, great welcome to those who we have worked with. And great, great, great welcome to those who have yet to meet us in this form, though you, of course, have met us in other forms. baba, dia baba, yuko tika a, chopapa, ndia, dia baba. Jababa, shile, witikinda kataka, wishika, topapa. Ah, sipia papa, cheka, usika. Yet, papa, cheka. Yeah, takata. Tipia. Tikata, toy. Toy. Tikoi. Jobaba, tikile. Tipipi. And so, dear ones, that which draws you to this session. Let us discuss, shall we? Let us discuss this notion of the new earth energetics. And so let us begin with let us begin with a question. Why are you here? Why are you, the human you, here in this incarnation? Now, this is not a rhetorical question. This is audience participation. And so feel free to either pop an answer in the chat or to pop your hand, your physical hand, or in fact your cartoon hand up. Why are you here? Why do you think that you are here in this incarnation? What is the point of being human? We will give you a few moments and then we may point at someone. Oh, it may be you. Dear Isabel. Greetings.
Shall I answer? Because there's some answers in the chat.
Indeed. Well, share your answer and we will refer to the chat. Much gratitude, dear one, for launching us off.
I mean, for my part, I would say to experience what it is to be human and to create what needs to be created in order to advance my soul's journey while being of service to the collective at the same time.
Perfect. Perfectly phrased, dear one. Perfect. And so others have added to this: to experience, expand, and serve, to spread love, to evolve, learn, grow, love, and commune with all beings, to learn and spread love. And so then, dear ones, what is the point of difficult moments? What is the point of hard experiences? And we say hard for your human. What is the point of pain, distress, conflict? Dear Nat.
Well, usually it's to make us pay attention and change and grow and learn.
Gratitude, dear one. In addition, we have connecting to my loving tribe. May have been from the previous question. Honing, learning, balance, stillness, and strength. To learn, grow, educate, and support. All of which are very good responses. And many of you have had very well, we will just say huge experiences as humans, huge experiences as humans. Many of you have had the experience of density, we will call it density, of hardness, of heaviness, and many of you have gotten through that perfectly and are now at the point where you can say, I am here for expansion, I am here for love, I am here for reconnection. But in the moment of going through that density, we do not want to gloss over this, for this is key, this is critical. It is important to recognize the experience that your human has and is having. And that is the full gamut That is the full gamut. And the full gamut includes a lot of the density, the denser experiences, the denser frequencies. But we would say that from a broader perspective, where humanity is at the moment, where your collective is at the moment, this was the perfect environment for you as a collective and individually, for you to experience extremities of experience. So for you to fully experience abandonment, fully experience betrayal, fully experience hurt, fully experience distrust, fully experience loss, fully experience the pain of the incapacity of illness. And you have experienced that, and many of you have through different experiences at different times in different lives, have experienced and enabled your soul at a soul level to really fully bank that experience, to really fully explore that theme. What does that theme, that vibrational theme, really feel like? You have all heard, we are sure you have all heard of the explanation through other spiritual teachers around your soul being fully, completely love, and therefore, in a sense, desirous of the opportunity to expand through the experience of what is the opposite of love. And everything can fall into those broad categories with everything in the middle. And so for many of you, for most of you, we would say, you have had these experiences of exploring themes and exploring themes and exploring themes. And sometimes we know in this incarnation, you feel that you have not really been able to get out of the loop of exploring the theme that perhaps you have explored in previous lifetimes, or even the theme that you have explored in this lifetime. The theme of abandonment, for instance, and it continues to come back, and the relationships that you create continue to illustrate and illuminate this theme, and you say to yourself, yes, 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 thank you very much, I have explored this to its full capacity now, let us move on. And yet it is part of what is often referred to as the 3D matrix energy grid that is holding those frequencies that you then are resonating with, that are creating those experiences in your human life that make you feel that you perhaps can't quite move on, you can't quite let go. You theoretically understand everything. Theoretically, you know you should not tell the same story over and over again. Theoretically, you know you should manage your thoughts. Theoretically, you know everything is energy. Theoretically, you know that because everything is energy, you control that which you create. You control that which you manifest. Theoretically, you know and understand all of this. But because you are connected into an energy supply that is of the old 3D matrix grid, it is more problematic for you to just, in a sense, think your way out of it. There is an energy infrastructure under your experience that often holds you in place. And now, why is it now possible to shift from that energy grid that and we will say that energy grid has been constantly fueled by the experience that humans have had over eons. And so all of the wars, all of the poverty, all of the famine, all of the displacement, all of the disharmony, that energy is in that 3D matrix grid. That energy does not dissolve and disappear. That energy cycles back into what is, and it might be more useful if we ask you to visualize an actual grid. It is not a solid grid, it is an energy grid, but it is a grid that surrounds and holds the earth. And this grid for eons has been what many refer to as the 3D matrix grid. You can call it whatever you like. It is a grid of frequencies that run the full gamut of frequencies. And obviously then if you attune to a frequency that is dense, then that is going to impact your human physical experience. And you may or may not be aware that maybe in your series of Now Moments 4 or 5 years ago, there were frequencies that came into the sphere, frequencies that came into the presence of the Earth's atmosphere, that facilitated the establishment of a different grid, of a grid that has a greater level, that is purely divine, a grid that is, if you were to think in terms of frequencies, a grid that has the purity of gold, a grid that has the elevation of diamond, a grid that is fueled by the divine, that is fueled by pure, clean, and elevated frequencies. That is that is reflective of and representative of the energy that is held by your soul. And so that grid is now holding, is surrounding the earth, and and there are many different hubs throughout the globe of individuals that have been working with energy such as ours to facilitate the connection into that grid and the disconnection from the old energy matrix grid. And of course, the more humans that are connecting into the new Earth energy grid, the more likely it is that the collective more rapidly begins to move towards the experience of less polarity, of less division, of greater sense of agreement, of harmony, incorrect, not agreement, but acceptance of diverse perspectives, acceptance of a multitude of different views and perspectives. This is where the Earth and Gaia and the collective is heading. And we will say it is inevitable. Fear not that you will be somehow caught, that your society, that the collective will be stuck in this moment forever and ever and ever. It is inevitable. Your civilization it is inevitable that you will move into a higher dimensional experience, that which many of you refer to as the fifth dimensional and above experience, an experience where you can hold yourself in a place of solidity, in a place of equanimity, in a place of balance, in a place of harmony as a collective. It is inevitable. And so do not pay any attention to the fear-mongering or those thoughts that might cycle around. You are only holding the current situation in place for longer if you subscribe, if you feed into that. It is inevitable that you will move. But you as individuals can move much more rapidly and have individual experiences, have your life reflecting this elevated frequency environment, but also contribute to the movement at a global level, the movement at a collective level into a more pure, more harmonized, more loving experience of being a human. Now, before we open for questions, and we will wind up, we realize we have been, as she likes to say, rambling for some time. But before we wind up, we want to address this question that maybe you have, we feel that some of you have, which is, well, if we do that, what is the point of, where does our soul get to have the expansion? Is everything over then? Does our soul just stop expanding? And of course, we say, of course, but it is not obvious. It is not clear. This is not the case. The case is that from this elevated perspective, from a different dimensional experience, from a less polarized experience, your soul will still have what many of you call contrast, or contrasting moments, or moments where things don't go your way, or moments where you desire something and it doesn't come through. But your experience of that, the way you process that, the way you process grief and pain and hurt will shift. There will be a lighter feel to it, and it will be more momentary. It will be more transient. And so it is not necessary for your soul to experience expansion, for you, the human, to hold on to grief for a decade. It is not necessary. Your soul receives the same level of expansion if you feel grief for 30 seconds or 30 years. It is the same. It is feeling that frequency. And so it is not necessary for humanity to grow and expand for you to be held in density. And it is certainly not necessary for your humans to experience the difficulty of living whilst in these denser frequencies. And so, dear ones, perhaps with that, it is an opportune moment to open for any questions that may have popped up for any of you. Again, feel free to take yourself off mute, to raise your physical hand, your cartoon hand, or pop your question in the chat if you have one. Yeah, interesting, dear Angela. A perfect question for the group, we feel. So how does it happen? How does the disconnection and the connection into a different grid happen? And as we have already shared, there are different groups globally that are facilitating this with their counterparts, their non-physical counterparts, facilitating this in different ways. The way we are working with Dear Maya is we are facilitating this in a way that enables a recalibration at a human level. There is an amount of programming at a human level that you have experienced that has resulted in thought patterns or structures of belief systems that you feel are hardwired. And so there is a portion of the experience that we share together where this is deactivated, shall we say. You deactivated. We want to be very clear here. We are the facilitators. We are the stewards. We wish to facilitate your experience of you reclaiming your own power. We are most elevated when we observe your own self-empowerment. And so there is no part of this that is us doing this to you, but we are most definitely loving teachers. We will not use the word teacher. We would like to say steward. We are loving stewards. And so there is a portion of that which occurs. And then there is a very deeply energetic element, which is really until the recent times within the last 4 or 5 years shortly prior to 2020, there was the access point to a different set of galactic frequencies that have enabled the unplugging experience. And so prior to that, you might wonder, well, why were we not able to disconnect prior to that time? Well, to begin with, the New Earth grid was not in place. And secondarily, the frequencies that allow you to disconnect from that were not in place either. And so there is a frequency packet that allow you to disconnect, and this is facilitated by your own connection with your own multidimensional selves and your own galactic aspects. And then there is a reconnection, again, through a broader experience of your own multidimensionality. And then that will bring you to a place where you are able to accept and realize and feel the fullness of that different grid. And in that different grid, in that New Earth grid, you will clearly ask yourself, these beliefs that I have held for so long that have altered and impacted and stymied my experience, if I am now functioning from a different elevated high frequency grid only, they do not. And so therefore, what is my experience? What is my actual human experience? And so we will take one or two further questions. We realize we have run over time now. Dear Maya is knocking on the inside here. And then we do wish to guide you into the experience of what it feels like to connect with this energy. And so let us take one or two. Is there anyone who wants to ask a physical question? We will just take Carolyn's question and then we will walk you through this brief reconnection, dipping into exercise, because as we say, we understand from dear Maya, we have run well over time, or we will. And Carolyn's question is, when we connect to the New Earth grid, how does that affect how we relate to those still on the old grid? A useful question for all, dear one. And so if you accept that you are frequency, and you are just energy. You are frequency. You are wave and particle. And the way your physicality is made up, the way your experience is impacted by energy, by frequency. And so when you are connected into the New Earth energy grid, you will be vibrating at a higher frequency. And if you accept that you cannot vibrate for another, you cannot decide that you will zap someone and they will vibrate at a higher frequency. They are empowered to choose their level of vibration, their level of frequency that they attune to. But what happens is that you will find it either difficult to resonate with them as individuals, and you will find that they are less and less likely to come into your experience, less and less likely to impact your experience. Or you will find that you are able to draw from them. Every human has access to all of the frequencies, and whilst you cannot vibrate for another, you can most definitely do what we are doing now. We are holding a high frequency. You are attuning yourself to our frequency. It is like we are the tuning fork, and you are allowing your frequency to resonate with that which we hold. And so this would be the case for those who would be interacting with you in the New Earth grid. Their, shall we say, their lighter aspects, their more balanced expressions of self would be likely to come into connection with you should you be able to hold your own frequency in the most solid, stable form. We hope that has answered your question sufficiently, dear Carolyn. And so, we have two further portions of this session. And so if Maya is asking us to share, if you need to leave, then do so now. Yes, indeed. But in terms of sequencing, we would like to now ask for any of our alumni who are available for questions for you to ask at a human-to-human level. The reason we want to do it this way and then end on the experience of feeling the frequencies of the New Earth energy grid is we want you to hold that so that you are not disturbed from that energetic place. And if you wish to, you can sit in that beautiful field for as long as you require in the coming hours. And so whilst you are still a little bit cognitively engaged, we would like to open this now. If anyone has questions, what does it mean? What does it mean at a physical level, at a human level, to what is the impact? What am I likely to experience? To ask these questions of those who have already previously had this experience. And so, Rosie, we would invite you to take yourself off mute, and we will remove ourselves for the moment. We are not very far away, and we are eavesdropping, so do be careful what you say, and we will come back, but we will just allow dear Maya to fully come back into her own physical self. Hello, Rosie. Nice to meet you. I'm really glad that you've joined this session.
Thank you.
And I would invite you just to go back and watch the replay, because I think you might have had the times wrong, and there was a really lovely little introduction at the beginning. So I'd invite you to do that. But please feel free to ask your question, and then I would invite whoever feels that they are able to respond in an authentic way. We have Frederica, we have Isabel, Layla and Soredo, who have previously experienced this plugging in, plugging out. So go ahead, Rosie.
Thank you again. That was very interesting. My question is more, if I've understood correctly, the program, it's an awakening program. It's not so much a training as leaders, it's more of an awakening cycle, correct?
Okay, for that question, I'm going to put that on hold because I want them to speak to that. So if that's all right,
absolutely,
we might ask them to speak to that. If anyone has any other questions around how it feels to be in a different grid, or what they should expect in terms of interactions and relationships, or manifestations or anything. And there's no obligation if you're satisfied. Oh, sorry, Isabel, but you're an alumni. You can't ask a question.
I know. No, yeah, I know. It's just there's a question in the chat from somebody I don't know the name of. And this question of overwhelm, I think, is kind of relevant to what Stephen brings to the table in terms of helping us way better regulate our nervous systems and go through these energy shifts and managing the incoming energies and the photonic energies that are coming from either outside or even the raising of frequency of Gaia itself. And that is super helpful to be supported by this new grid and fully plugging into it excuse my language, I'm not obviously a native English speaker, as you can say, as you can hear. And there are some one-on-one sessions with Stephen that can also be available if there's a need for support. So I just wanted to answer to that, because I can understand how overwhelming it can be, and the fragmentation that is mentioned in the question is something that can you can go through life with much more inner peace and which more ease and more grace through these challenging times, thanks to this work. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Isabelle. Thank you. Carolyn, did you have a question for one of the alumni? Oh, we can't hear you. Looks like you're off mute, but how strange. No, we still can't hear. Can anyone else hear Karen? No. Oh, yes, she's popping it in the chat now then. Different life, yes. How different life feels after connecting with the new Earth grid. Okay, I might, Leila, Soredo, or Frederica, do either of you want to take that one? How different does life feel after connecting to the grid? Thank you, Frederica.
It wasn't an immediate change, like, you know, you put on different clothes in the morning and, oh, that's it, I feel completely different. It was more smooth and, you know, I still had to remind myself that I was on a different grid and I still had to work on it. I was still going back on to the episodes. But I feel different. I feel more peaceful. And I think my level of self-love has increased so much that my work is going better. I attract more work. So, you know, I don't feel like I have to worry about money. And my relationships with my family have improved a lot. And just so many things. I've had a couple of quite upsetting things recently, which I would normally would throw me out. And within a few hours, I could really shift myself and see the gold in it. And that's, I think, the beauty of it, because you just feel so empowered by knowing that we create our own reality, and we know how much better, we understand much better how to create this reality. So yeah, that's how I feel it's changed for me.
Oh, that's beautifully said, Frederica. Thank you. Soreida, do you mind if I come over to you just in case you want to add anything?
Yes.
You do mind?
No, I don't mind, but yeah, I wanted to add something. So I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
So yeah, much to the point of Frederica, it wasn't something instant, but it's like growing new skin in a way. So it's pretty much reconstructing my own ecosystem, energetic ecosystem. So that's something that I don't think even it's safe for it to happen overnight. So it's taking, of course, time to pretty much for us to get used to it, for my human mind to get used to it. For me, I really felt a lot of heaviness that has been lifted. I no longer feel like it's when I need to make a change or when I want to go into a direction, I'm pretty much trying to move the whole world with me, or at least having to contend with a lot of the conditioning that comes with it. I feel much freer into I feel like I've reconnected to the notion of free will, in the sense that I have much more access to my ability to change my state, to pretty disentangle from the environment, the surrounding noise that normally comes when there is something that happens on a global scale, or and that's pretty much takes everyone with it. I feel I can pretty much take a step back and realign, feel more grounded. And there's also this notion of so that was like over 2 years now. I feel like when I look back, opportunities, synchronicities, everything is pretty much lined up, pretty much. It's like I don't have, it's like as it's cutting through red tape. For me, that's how it feels. It's like I don't have to go through the 10 options to, oh, and then this is the option. It's like whatever that is, I'm much more aligned to the reality that I'm creating. So the opportunities, the synchronicities are definitely, it's like the world is happening for me in a way. Of course, I'm not disconnected from the world. I'm not living in a cloud or anything, but it's I have more power over my energy, my emotions, and life happens in a different way.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that, Sarita. Layla, can I just ask if there's anything you want to add? And then we will move on to the transmission.
Pretty much, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just pretty much the same thing. Everything just flows. I've always, right from when I was in my 20s, I was desperate to be in the flow of everything and just didn't know how to do it or, the steps to allow that to happen in my life. And it's now just comes so easily. And each time we meet, Stephen, each session we have, we get another building block, I feel, to make things, we learn something new every single time, and it's amazing. And it's fun. It's really fun. And I feel it's interesting. There's a few of us that are going to be meeting up, and some are live in Paris, and we're all going to meet for the first time. But we're all just amazed that we've never met before because we feel such an incredible bond with each other. And yeah, I found that people that aren't positive just tend to not be in my sphere anymore. It's lovely. It's so lovely.
That's beautifully said, actually, Layla. That's right. They're just not, you just don't resonate with them. So they're just not in your field anymore. I think that's sort of a nice response to Carolyn's question. So lovely. Good. Well, what we might do now, just because I'm aware we really are running over time, I'm only aware of the commitment that I asked you to make time-wise and that we've gone over. But so again, if you do need to leave, then please do. So I'll move out. No, they'll come in now. Okay, so just prepare yourselves. They'll walk you through just a little, I don't know what it'll be actually, but a little experience of connecting you in. And then I will say at the end of that, we'll just close down. I won't open it up to any further Q&A because you will probably be in a slightly altered consciousness state. But if you have any questions, do just ping me later. If you are interested in any of the details around this program, the New Earth Energetics Plugging In program, please reach out to me. And if you want any other information, just let me know. All right. Good. So when you're ready, we'll just reconnect with the field that we've created. It should be easy and quick. There we go. Si papa cheke le kue tse papa tikin. Yela ha tse kue chikia tse papa. Take a deep breath, dear ones. And feel the fizz in your heart. Allow yourself to access this multidimensional experience by connecting in through the gateways of the heart. Observe, notice, or imagine a series of chambers within your heart center. Imagine the first of these chambers opening by your intention, and continue with this process to open each of these gateways until you feel they are fully open. Your heart center is fully opened. Each of you will have a different number of chambers that are specific to you, but you will know when you have reached the point at which your heart chambers are fully open. You will be aware of this moment feeling different. You'll be aware of this moment being that in which you are beginning to work in a different dimensional plane. And so take as long as you need, one by one, intending for each of your heart chambers to open. And now, perhaps, is the moment you feel you have shifted. Something has shifted. You are in a different dimensional space. And so now, imagine yourself standing in a geographical location. Perhaps it is not where you are physically located at this point in time. Perhaps it is somewhere else. Allow yourself to receive this geographical location. And as you are standing at this point on the surface of the earth, you are feeling a connection, of course, to the core of Gaia. You are feeling this energetic cord holding you. You are feeling the grounded energies surging through this energetic cord to hold you in this place on the surface of the earth in a very precise geographical location. And now, imagine or visualize your heart center opening up. And as it opens up, you see the sparkle, the glisten. You see the shimmering light, the golden flecks move from your heart, gently billowing into the atmosphere. And as you observe, as they begin to elevate, to levitate upwards, you feel a magnetic pull of this energy to a framework, to a flow, to a grid that surrounds the earth. And as your heart energy, represented by a series of small golden sparks, begins to meet and meld this energy grid, this frequency supply, you feel an elevation in your being. You feel a correctness. You feel a rightness. You feel a lift. And as you now become aware that you are only these golden flecks, you are no longer a human physical form, you are merely these golden flecks of light. And observe as these golden flecks of light move with the flow of the energy of this grid. And you are aware that you are above the globe, above Gaia. You are aware that you are encircling her, that you are moving with the movement of the energy, of the frequency of this golden diamond light grid of divinity. And you feel illuminated, and you feel uplifted, and you feel elevated, and you feel exuberant, and you feel like love, and you know you are love. And when you are ready, and perhaps you will never feel ready to leave this exquisite place, allow yourself to retrace the movements, the motions, to feel your energy coming back fully into your human. Feel yourself grounded, settled, physical again. And we would invite you, if it feels like somewhere you want to stay, to hold yourself here now. We want to address the question that Rosie posed, and so we will do so. But you need not come back fully consciously into the present moment unless you are desirous of this. You can hold yourself here and continue after this session has concluded. But to your question, dear Rosie, we would say no, this is by no means an awakening program. This is a program that will not suit everyone. The reason it will not suit everyone is that it requires already a pre-existing level of self-examination, a pre-existing level of illumination of your own place in the experience of this incarnation. It will not suit anyone who still feels attached to stories of victimhood. It will not suit anyone who has not in a sense, eyeballed their human to human. We do not subscribe to the notion of shadow work to the point of annihilation. We wish for you all to love and adore your human in his or her fullness. But it is also important that you have a sense of the contributing factors to why you hold certain thought patterns, why you behave in certain ways. And perhaps mostly it is important that you have already done this level of analysis in order to feel that you are ready to shift energetically, because it is an energetic transformation. It is not, and we do not want to say merely, but it is not a thought by thought deconstruction. It is an energetic transformation that allows a shifting in thought patterns, allows you to think different thoughts and therefore hold different beliefs and therefore experience different physical manifestations. But it is not in any way a discovery, a platform for those who have not already some level of self-awareness at Chakaka. And it is important for us to say that regardless of what modality, many of you are currently utilizing modalities such as Reiki, such as Merlin healing, such as Vortex healing, many different types of modalities. These modalities are not, this is not instead of that modality. This is a different mainframe for that modality to work in a supercharged fashion, because it is working with the energy, the pure energy of the divine. It is not working within the context of the muddied 3D matrix grid system. And so, dear ones, we are available if there is one or two further questions. Otherwise, we will close this session.
May I ask an additional pointer? The group that is Stephen, this may sound technical, is there a number of them that are together, or does it change the number that are there?
We would again recommend that you watch the beginning of this transmission. We go into considerable detail. Maya goes into considerable detail, but it is easiest for us to say that we are the Elohim, and we are a collective of consciousness threads. And it is in other dimensions, dear ones, it is not as it is on the earthly plane. And sometimes it is difficult for you as humans. You want to apply that framework that you know and understand at a human level, at an earthly level. You want to apply that to a multidimensional experience. And it is difficult. It is a square peg in a round hole scenario. So we are different. It is easiest and most direct, most accurate for us to say that we are a collective of energetic threads, and there is no one, but we are an amalgamation. Is that clear, dear one? Is there any further follow-up?
Very clear. Very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so one final call, and we shall wind down and leave you in this space, this energetic space. Perfect, perfect. Well, it is with deep appreciation, dear ones, and we mean that with great depth. It is appreciation for this experience that you are having in this moment as a human. We understand it is not always easy. It is complex and can be problematic to your human to experience all that you are experiencing. And yet it is important, and each of you knows the role that you have to play. And each of you will check in with yourselves and will know, does am I required at this point to connect into the new earth energy grid in order to continue my mission, in order to fulfill my mission? And if the feeling is yes, then we would urge you to act on that. But it is not a requirement, and you will continue to evolve the way that you are evolving. But it is useful for you to do this this connection piece with your broader energetic self. And so it is with deep appreciation, but also, dear ones, with such deep love for each one of you, deep connection with that which is the core of who you are, deep sense of the beauty of our unity consciousness together, that we leave you now. This is Stephen, or the Elohim. Okay, everyone, I will release you now. Thank you so much. And thanks for hanging in there for that extra 25 minutes or so. Oh, half an hour. I'm always bad at estimating how long these things will take. Really appreciate your presence and your energetic contribution and just being here. And yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to the alumni. And if anyone has a question that they might like to ask of the alumni, feel free. Oh, I'm saying that I haven't really checked in with them, but you could send the question to me and then I can, yes, we're getting thumbs up all over the place there. So feel free to connect with them. And otherwise, if you've got general questions, please ping them over to me. Lots of love. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.